Good morning, everybody. It's the last Sunday of the year, and Rosie woke up this morning. She's got a possible bronchitis going on, and I've got a scratchy throat, so we decided to be out of caution, it'd be best not to have everybody come together this morning. But I do want to share a little snippet of what I'll be sharing next week, since y'all won't be here to catch the whole thing. So let me just say that I'm going to be speaking from the book of Revelations, chapters 2 and 3. It is the Lord speaking to the seven churches, and in the conversations with all the churches, the Lord makes this statement. He says, "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying unto the churches." And I think that of all the things that I could share with you this morning, the most important thing that we can do as believers is to hear what God has to say about our lives individually, our lives corporately, what's going on in the world. We need to know. We need to be able to understand what it is the Lord is saying in these last days. As I began to study the Word, the words are important. They mean something. And so I just, for whatever reason, I thought I'd look up two words. Now again, the Lord said, "He that hath an ear." Interesting word. In Old Testament times, for instance, Ezra basically built him a pulpit. He got over the crowds of people to where his voice would carry. As time went on, we saw where the Greeks and the Romans would build amphitheaters where the speaker would sit down in a hollow and the people would hear his voice as his voice carried up into the seats. And even Jesus, when he wanted to speak to crowds of people, he would get up on a hillside, or he would get out in a boat over water, and if you speak over water, your voice will carry. And so, as I thought about that word ear, because the Lord said, "He that hath an ear," I looked up the word ear. Interesting word. As I mentioned, Ezra built a pulpit. Romans and Greeks built amphitheaters. And Jesus spoke over the water to amplify his voice. And today we have movie theaters and we have amplifiers and all that. And so when I looked up the word ear, it's not referring just to the physical ear. The word ear, he that hath an ear, and the word he, it doesn't mean just a guy, it means anyone. So he that hath an ear, in other words, the Lord was saying, I'm speaking to the audience. You go to a convention, a speaker gets up, everybody there listens. There's an audience that has an ear. They're the audience. They are hearing what the speaker has to say. And so when the Lord said, "He that hath an ear," he's saying to the audiences of people that will be hearing what I've got to say. He that hath an ear. In other words, to the audiences of those who will hear my voice. And of all the people in the world that ought to be listening to his voice, it ought to be the church. And in this year to come, I think it's so important that we hear what the Spirit is saying unto the churches. I believe there needs to be a reformation of the church. I believe that one thing, like that song says, the church needs to get back to the heart of worship, where it's not about the popular songs and the popular artists and whatever. It's all about Him. And then ministers need to get on with preaching the Word, because there are audiences out there that need to hear the Word. Christians need to hear the Word that builds up, that edifies, that strengthens, that encourages them to serve the Lord and serve people. And then, of course, there's those who don't know Christ that need to hear what the speaker, what the Spirit is saying. The Spirit is saying to those who don't know Him, "Come unto me, all you that are burdened and heavy laden, I'll give you rest. Come to me, you that are thirsty, and I'll give you living water." If you're lost this morning, hear what the Spirit is saying. He's saying, come to Christ. Come to Jesus. If you're listening at all this morning, the most important thing that you could do in your life, if you don't know Christ this year, at the end of this year, talk to Him. Tell Him what's going on in your life. Tell Him how you feel. And then hear. You become part of His audience and hear what He has to say to you. He that hath an ear, to the audiences. This world needs to listen to what Jesus has to say in these last of the last days. And so, he that hath an ear, to the audiences, let him hear what the Spirit is saying. Interesting word here. And next week, you'll get to hear about it. But I just wanted to kind of tickle your ears this morning to prepare for next week. The Lord willing, we'll gather together and hear. We'll give audience to what the Spirit has to say to us in this new year that's coming up. So, I hope I've tickled your ears this morning, and I hope that you'll prepare your hearts to receive the Word next Sunday. Until then, may God bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord cause His countenance to shine upon you and give you peace. May the Lord be gracious unto you. I pray this year, as we close out this year, before you go to bed tonight, you'll take some time and just thank the Lord for life, for the blessings that are ours, for the things that God has done for you in this year. The fact that you're alive shows us the mercy of the Lord. And with all that's going on in this world at this point, I think it's so important for us to talk to Him and then become the audience of one. God bless.